What's up, everybody? Tony Beats Guy here, and this video will contain spoilers, but I did want to put that out right away. It's something that I usually don't talk about because I don't like to spoil wrestling stuff when I know that you guys like to watch the shows, maybe Monday, Friday, coming pay-per-view, stuff like that. But I do want to report on news and rumors, and this isn't a big spoiler that's going to ruin anything for you. But I did want to talk about this because it was very, very good subject that we really need to talk about. We know that WWE is promoting their pay-per-views a lot sooner, and we know that from SummerSlam because SummerSlam they announced a year ahead of time, and now they're announcing that the Royal Rumble on January 25th is now going to take place in Philadelphia. That's right. That's where Royal Rumble's going to take place. I heard it was going to take place from there a while ago. Johnny of New Legacy Inc. hit me up and said, hey, you should come to the Rumble. It's in my neck of the woods, and I heard about it, and I thought, oh, that might be a good idea. Still on the fence about that, but it's something that I could do. But now we know the Royal Rumble, well, probably the biggest pay-per-view next to WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank, I guess, now are considered the big ones, right? I guess those are the big four. SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania. So that's good. I also think Chamber's a good one, too, as well. Night of Champions could be good. But so we have Royal Rumble. And you know the Royal Rumble. They do the Royal Rumble match, the 30-man over-the-top rope rumble. Well, this year they have confirmed that it will feature a 40-man Royal Rumble as opposed to the 30. And we know that in 2011 we had that 40-man Royal Rumble, which was cool because there's a lot of things you can do with 40 people that you can't do with 30 people. But something that you have to think about right away is who would you put in it now that you have 40 people? Well, with the push of NXT, we could have a lot of people in it. We could have Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, The Ascension. Those are guys that are talking about coming up to the main roster at any time. Tyler Breeze as well is another name that I would think could be in this. So we could get a lot of NXT superstars to be in that Royal Rumble. And we could get a lot of favorites. Because I always like when the Royal Rumble has a lot of returns. We know that Jerry Lawler always comes in every once in a while. We know Mick Foley could be a guy that could come in. I heard that Stone Cold Steve Austin's working to have a return to come back. Booker T's a guy. We know any of the legends from the Legends House like Hacksaw could come back. Roddy Piper maybe. Road Dogg, Michael Cole. Anything could happen in the realm. Even like you're thinking about like all the guys that are around. You could have any of the Rosebuds could come in. The bunny could come in. It depends on how long they want to draw out the story of the bunny and the rosebuds and all that. But that's something that could happen. And we know that there is it's going to be big this year with the 40 people, and I like it. And I hope that we get a lot of surprise returns and a lot of new names in the Rumble, because that's something that's really good about the Royal Rumble. Like I said, this is probably on the top. I might have to say this might be one of my favorite. It goes this and then WrestleMania every year. SummerSlam sometimes, depending on what the card is. But I'm going to say Royal Rumble this year is looking to shape up to be something good. I hope they put, like I said, surprises as well as returns in it. You could have Daniel Bryan return this year in the Royal Rumble. And I think there's room for a couple return spots to make it a very interesting Royal Rumble this year. I think you can have one start at the beginning, one in the middle, one at the end. As far as like returns, whether it be guys that are injured, guys that are making a return, and then sprinkle throughout, you can have NXT guys and legends such as Jerry Lawler, Michael Cole, JBL, Mick Foley, Booker T, Hacksaw, Roddy Piper, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, that kind of thing. Bill DeMott, Triple H, there you go. Undertaker, I don't know. You want to do that? You could do that. But the thing about this that I want to really talk about is this really fit for the NXT superstars? I know some of you are thinking, well, they've been on Raw and stuff, but this kind of brings it to the point where I'm not sure that NXT should be on the main roster. I understand what's going on with NXT, and they want to push it at its own brand, and they want to make it a big show. But I'm not so sure that NXT guys should be on the main roster and should even be in the Royal Rumble. And the reason I'm saying this is because those guys are not on the main roster. The whole point is that you go to NXT and work your way up to the main roster. That's the way that I see that the developmental system should work. Because when you get to the main roster, it should be a big deal. I mean, I understand where they want to make it sort of like ECW, or even I heard Triple H saying he wanted to make it like WCW. But I'm not so sure that you really do want the NXT guys to be up there. I don't even think a fact that the NXT guys should have their own merchandise on WWE. Maybe at the NXT events, but not on Shop. Maybe on a separate NXT website shop. I don't know what you want to do with it. But I think that the whole point of getting to the main roster is so that you can be a part of the pay-per-views. You can be a part of Monday Night Raw. You can be a part of Main Event, SmackDown. You can be a part of Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank, Night of Champions, all that stuff. But when you get the chance to be on the main roster and be in the Royal Rumble, that's just one of the things that kind of, I don't know about that one. Now let me backtrack for a second, because I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, and I'm nagging on the NXT brand, which is not the plan of this video, but I just thought I would have to put this thought out there because it's something that I've been thinking about for a while. It's NXT. I love NXT. I love the superstars on NXT. Honestly, I think NXT is the best show that's on television, and that's how it should stay. If you're going to keep the guys on the NXT brand, do it. Keep it separate from WWE and make it seem like it's its own big product, and that's what I really like about it. You can have it still be that developmental property without putting those guys on the main show. Like, I would not put Tyler Breeze on there until he makes it to the main roster. I would not put Tyler Breeze on Raw unless he makes it to the main roster. That's the way that I see it. I don't think you should put Sami Zayn on it, and I think he's the best that NXT has right now. I think he's the most entertaining guy. I think his personality is great. I think he's great. I think overall Sami Zayn just entertains me the most out of anybody on NXT right now. But I would not put him in the Royal Rumble, and the reason is because he's not on the main roster. It's supposed to be special when those guys get called up. You have like Bo Dallas and Rusev now, and those guys, I think, could come in and could be in the Rumble because they made that transition from NXT over to the main roster. And I know that those guys appeared in the Rumble before as NXT superstars, but I just don't think that's right. I think that you have to keep that separation. You have to make it seem like NXT is its own deal. And yes, I get if you want to build it as the ECW and I keep guys on NXT for a while, that's fine. You could have Tyson Kidd, Tyler Breeze, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, all those guys stay down there, but you build it as its own thing and make it seem like NXT should be the place to be. You should have guys wanting to go from the main roster over to NXT and not vice versa. I want NXT to be the brand that is the top brand at WWE, and I think it is right now. I think it's more entertaining than anything on Monday Night Raw. It's more entertaining than anything on SmackDown. NXT is a great show, and I think that you don't want to give those guys that push to the main roster by putting them in the Royal Rumble if they're not on the main roster. I understand putting them on Raw and SmackDown if you're trying to promote NXT TakeOver or NXT Arrival or whatever, an NXT special event / pay-per-view, but I think leave it where they're at. Let them marinate. Let it see what happens. Let the juices flow. Let it go down. And when you figure out, okay, this guy is ready. Tyler Breeze, he's been on NXT for a while. He's got a great personality. He's got a great look. We're building the character. The fans know him. Let's bring him up now. Flip the switch and boom, he's ready. Now Tyler Breeze is ready for the main roster. And then you can have him debut in the Rumble. Maybe you do it this way. You have a guy who's ready to go on the main roster. You wait and debut him in the Rumble. He gets eliminated by somebody, and then that's how he gets on the main roster. That's a simple enough way, an easy enough way, and a very good way to get a guy on the roster. But you can't hot potato these guys back and forth, and because, like I said, it's gotta be special when you make it to the main roster. That's my feeling about NXT. NXT is so good that guys from the main roster should be wanting to go down there. And when you get called up to the main roster from NXT up to WWE, up to Monday Night Raw, it should be something special and it should be something great. And that should be the moment. You shouldn't be, well, I'm gonna have one match here and then go back to NXT and then have another match there and go NXT. I mean, they have the leisure of doing that because they own basically their own independent promotion, and that is NXT. But honestly, I think 40-man Rumble, bring some guys up from NXT, but have them stay on the main roster. That's the best way to do it. I think you need to keep those guys separate on NXT, separate on WWE main roster. But 40-man Royal Rumble, I am excited for this. And I think we have some possibility to have some good things happen in the 40-man Rumble. I know I had a really little bit of a rant talking about NXT, but I thought it was vital because really it stuck out in my mind. So let me know what you guys think about NXT. Do you think those guys should be on the roster, or if they should, you know, flip-flop when they choose, or should it be a big deal when they flip the switch and boom, he's on Monday Night Raw, and that is awesome. Anyway, let me know what you think about a 30-man versus a 40-man Royal Rumble in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Hit that like button if you enjoy this kind of thing. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, Tony Beats Guy, frag out.